Okay, hopefully a fairly quick video on how to put this thing together. Harbor Freight. Why do they put Pittsburgh? Like, I guess they hope we think it's been built in Pittsburgh. I wonder if the person who puts Pittsburgh on it knows where Pittsburgh is. Anyway, 300-pound capacity. It's the cheap one of the two. High lift riding mower. I see some decent reviews on it. I got it for $82, I think, or something like that. There was a coupon, but it was actually cheaper to go with the 20% off. I've opened the box upside down because China's on the other side of the planet, so you stand a better chance if you open the box upside down, because that would be right side up over there. I'm going to come back when I've gotten some of the pieces out and if I have some big insights on how to put it together. Okay, so already some concerns mount. There's a bag holding these two. They're pins. Those are what the wheels go into. Here's the rest of the stuff. What makes this unlike just about any other Harbor Freight thing is a giant flipping bag of bolts. This doesn't have one. So I have some concerns. Unless this all goes together with pins, I'm missing bolts. We'll see in a little bit. Oh, and there's the handle. Oh, those are skis for that. Anyway, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, classic Harbor Freight. There's what the whole assembly is supposed to look like. I'm going to conclude these two pieces are supposed to go together and become that assembly. What's a little disconcerting is, as you can see, single kind of strutish thing. Two in the picture. And while that looks like that on the end, it looks like that in the pictures. And not sure where that fits in yet. Change of plans. It turns out this goes here. At least that's what I'm guessing. And the reason I'm guessing that is because these stop things, these safety things, which are disengaged right now, look like they would match up with that. And there's no way that this can go here because these pins don't move. So it's more likely that this goes here. Sorry. And that's like that. And I think it's going to go like something like that. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see. So this attaches like that. Let's see if we can get a longer view. So the two bendable pieces pin into there. That's gonna, these safety things hook into the semicircular thing. And next, this thing goes, judging by the label, because that's eventually gonna be up, and the foot pedal would kind of match with that, whereas these things will all be towards the ground. So this has to go on this pin, and I guess this end has to go with this pin. Okay, so the piston goes in like that. You'll need to pump it a couple of times, so you'll need this, which is the pumpy thing, so pump it a few times. That'll give you enough room to get that pin in. Be back in a minute. Hey, stop! If you're following along with me, it's a good time to stop because I've made a mistake, so now you won't have to. This thing all goes together properly, but as I put the piston in, as you can see, this is the back of the unit. The piston's backwards, so I'll have to pull those two pins and flip it around. Not the end of the world, but don't make the same mistake. A quick and easy way to ensure you don't make the same mistake is to mount this piece, the one with these little thingies, just stick it onto the base with these facing towards you. When you put the ram in, then it's far more intuitive to put it so that the pedals, like this, come out the back, which is where they're supposed to be. Okay, so there's how the ram is supposed to be mounted. I guess label to the back. So label to the left. There's labels on both sides if that doesn't matter. By the way, side note, these new safeties, shit. The old method was a pin, so in previous reviews I've seen a pin goes right through. The pin's fairly idiot-proof, unless some idiot doesn't put the pin in. The pin's like a safety feature, so that you're not really relying on the piston to hold crap up. It was a good idea. I guess not enough people did it. They decided this was easier. It's amazing because this involves effort to manufacture. The pin was moron-proof. So I'm not really sure. You know, the Chinese method is usually cheaper, better. So not sure why they went to that, but it's not so great because it's tough to see here. It doesn't engage by much at all. And like all things Chinese, there's an insane amount of slop in it. So the pin would have actually worked a lot better, because these, oh, by the way, you mount that in there. That T-bar. And then those just slide onto there, and one of these pins holds it. Detent? Anything like that? Little ball? No, just a chunk of steel. Anyway, that's what's sticking out. Now if you shove it over, so it used to be a pin, now this is all that is your safety feature. And yeah, one's engaged on the other side. It's not a lot. It's nice in that as it goes up, I can do the up. Oh yeah, I'd have to pump it up. As it goes up, it will automatically move to the next. Those people bring the thing back to Harbor Freight. That's why the pin went away. This new system, you can see it's kind of like a ramp or a chamfer. I don't know what you want to call that. It'll allow it to go up to the next rung, kind of, as you continue to pump it. If you had the pin in, you forgot, and you went under it and you said, oh, it's not high enough, and you went to pump it again, and you forgot the pin in, you damaged the whole thing. And I'm guessing that was then a return or a replacement, or so they felt this is better. It's actually, to me, in my opinion, not as safe, but more convenient. I'd rather have safe. Side bad news. Lock washers. The one thing Harbor Freight, amongst their crap, you know, usable crap, and I'm a big fan of Harbor Freight because tools that I could have never purchased, I managed to get hold of through them, and they work okay. Most of it works okay. You just got to keep in the back of your mind, if it's a tool you're going to use a lot, understand it's going to break, it's going to be a piece of crap, you'll need to buy a real tool at some point. So, they generally, amongst all their junk, they always use nylock washers, nylock nuts. So, a pain in the ass to put on, but at least they work. Spring washer. If you're a fan of AVE, you know spring washers crap. And I'm kind of a believer in spring washers crap. So it appears they're going back to using spring washers. And in case you're wondering, yeah, it stinks like all things Harbor Freight. I guess it's the wheels. Okay, it's put together. Now for the bad news. Well, on the good news side, you don't actually need any screws for it. It's got a couple of bolts, and everything else just kind of pins together. So there's the great news. Relatively easy and quick to put together. Maybe 10, 15 minutes if you're moving slowly like I was, because I'm lazy. Bad news. I bought this in the great American tradition of consumerism, not actually needing it. I had just finished some work on a mower, and it was a real pain in the rump, and I said, next time I'm going to have that lift. And I went and bought it. I bought it with the understanding that it folds up nice and fairly small and could go against the wall. And people in the reviews would always show, there's a pin down here. As you can see, no more pin down there. And the handle itself is bolted on. So, bad news bears. This stays pretty much as big as it is. So that's the crappy news. It does not fold up in any way anymore. And this is the low end one. It seems fairly sturdy. It's probably going to be useful, but it does not fold up. So make sure you got room for it. I don't have room for it. So, fresh problem. Questions, concerns, leave them in the comments. Hope this helped you, because the instructions on this one suck.